Hey everybody, welcome to the Rosalie Elliott Show. I am exploring music from around the world, diving into the musical compositions, analyzing the psychology and philosophy thereof. It's perfect for you. Ah, she's like singing out of my soul. Sometimes we get lost in our own little world, but it's all so much bigger than we realize. Subscribe if you're new or if you haven't yet, and stay tuned for lots more. Shout out today goes to Alex. Thank you for your support on Buy Me a Coffee, making a suggestion via donation. I was told I need to check out an Aesop rock breakdown. I hope I'm saying their name right. And I'm going to go ahead with what Alex said is probably his favorite right now. It's called Gopher Guts. Okay, so I have no idea what to expect here. Do you know this band? What do I need to know about them? Where are they from? I believe this is a lyric video. Aesop Rock, an American rapper who lives in San Francisco, California.
Greasy, grimy gopher guts, poolside. Open one, I don't forget spoons twice. Lukewarm bulgers, mold on his moon pie. Rooms in his home that dissipate in the fruit flies. Suicide lane, wide load ride, looting in the wake of an amicable marooning. My duty go for moving in packs, sharing food with a cat. Tomates me, I accidentally saw the woman in half. She said, I'll keep you in my prayers. I said, I need to hide a body. She said, okay, honey, talk to you on Friday. Apparently we share a common plasma, so the growing disconnection doesn't matter. According to the blood and water chapter. Weird. Who wrote the blood and water chapter anyway? Probably some surly dad. Only child, 30 cats. Looking for a way to reconnect with an averted past. Except it doesn't always work like that. Today I pulled 3 baby snakes out of moss and dirt. With a wild strawberry bombs toss and turn. I told them you were gonna be something inventive and electric. You were healthy, you were special, you were present. Then I let them go.
Dang.
You were sitting at the gate awaiting spirits and provisions. I was privy to a headache over pirouetting innards. In a mirror sweating pictures. Who's there, simian or lizard? As it were, there is a disappearing difference in ambition and material. Antiquated gentlemen, outlaws reduced to a Ferris wheel of vitriol. Move as a god.
Okay, I gotta pause for a second. I have never heard of this rapper, Aesop Rock. Guys, the timbre of his voice is really unique. There's something I love. I'm more of a fan a lot of times when it comes to especially men voices when they tap into more of those bass lines. And there's a little bit of that, a fuller, richer warmth to the voice. That's just a personal preference. And I feel like he has that. I feel like he's tapping into more of those lower notes, bass, baritone. And he has a very subtle rasp, but there's something very full about his voice that makes it easy to listen to him, right? Every voice is different, and perception, right, is our reality, they say, right? Which is not true, but that's often how we perceive things, and it affects us. And it's easy for me to listen to him. There's a flow. But what I'm most impressed by right now, the beat is dope, it is catchy, right? But it's fairly straightforward to carry him and his rap. What I'm most impressed by right now is the word smithery. The wordplay right here. I mean, I'm not going to break down every single lyric because it's a lot, but he's good with that. Like there's a lot of from alliterations to some rhymes to double entendres. And the way that his cadence flow works with that beat, that's good. This is good. This is one of those artists I feel who probably is just really good at their skill and is refining it over the years, who knows rap. The kind of person that will remind you that rap is a skill and an art.
Bootleg Yukon Cornelius, I'm a... That's better, here we go. Disenchanted face printed on a $0 bill. Got a little plot of land where authority isn't recognized. Contraband keeping the core beside checker lies. Check, never mind a misanthrope vying for affection to the wretched sound of mysticism. Dying, it is something he must handle on his own. The wind blown way, when a wind don't play. Today I pulled 3 green frogs that are leaf and bark. Where the grapevines climb a convenient barn. I told him you were gonna be something tenacious and exalted. You are mighty, you are gracious, you are lauded. Then I let
Wow.
him go.
That's so catchy. That's so interesting.
I have been completely unable to maintain any semblance of relationship on any level. I have been a bastard to the people who have actively attempted to deliver me from peril. I have been acutely undeserving of the ear that listen up and lip that kiss me on the temple. I have been accustomed to a stubborn disposition that admits it wish its history disassembled. I have been a hypocrite in sermonizing tolerance while skimming for a ministry to pretzel. I have been unfairly resentful of those I wish had acted different when the bidding was essential. I have been a terrible communicator, prone to isolation over sympathy for devils. I have been my own worst enemy since the very genesis of rebels. Today I pulled 3 ghost crabs out of rock and sand with a low tide showcase of promised land. I told them you were gonna be something dynamic and impressive. You are patient, you are gallant, you are festive. Then I let them go.
Dang. That was pretty catchy. Okay, that beat was legit. That was catchy. I love how it kept coming back to the then I let him go. And again, that full lower texture of his voice, that warmth to it was smooth to listen to. The rhyme schemes and the literary art was fire in this one. There was a couple of obvious rhymes. You can just hear the flow. I love how his cadences were working, but it was unique because it was different than your certain rap where you have a cool cadence flow and they're breaking it up and they're flowing with the rhythm and they're putting different emphases on different syllables depending on how they're flowing with the beat. But then you have certain bars that are like, oh, snappy, just set that right, calling somebody out, hating on somebody, whatnot, shooting the shot. Here, it was much more like a storytelling, but it was darker. The overall feel of even the thematics were darker. Gopher guts, right? You got gophers, these little rodents, guts, right? The stuff inside of us, kind of cool little alliteration, gopher guts, but also makes you wonder, like, what the heck's happening? And it almost felt like it was from the perspective of a gopher, to be honest, because of all these different creatures that he kept pulling up, right? Oh, and he would tell them all these wonderful things. You're special, you're present, you're healthy, you're glorious, you're wonderful. Then I let him go. And that kind of is interesting because then he goes, oh, and that made me wonder if it's this gopher pulling out these animals, telling them all the wonderful things they are, lets them go instead of eating them. And then once they're gone, it's like, oh, crap, wait a minute. Maybe that wasn't what's supposed to be what I was supposed to do. Maybe. I mean, that's just how I'm taking it. But then it goes into the relational part, both in the beginning and in the end. In the beginning where he's telling his mom, I killed somebody, I need to bury the body. Again, cool rhyme scheming and cool, wordplay. And she's like, all right, see you on Friday. Again, rhyming, body, kill somebody. I have to bury the body. I'll see you on Friday. But this idea of, that whole idea with blood and water, who came up with that anyways? And perhaps this play on blood is thicker than water, right? His mom, who he's supposed to be close with, who he shares plasma with, but he's so far apart. So, and then later on talking about all the relational issues and how he's pushed people away that actually try to help him and, had this destructive behavior and his resentful behavior and his hypocritical tendencies. And he's really framing the whole thing before and after the whole play on all these animals. He's framing it with the harsh reality that a lot of people face in their relationships. You may have a parent, and even though you share plasma and you have the same blood, you're as far apart as could be. Or they go through the motions and you try to tell them something serious, like I killed somebody, and they say, I'll see you on Friday, right? There's what is the word? There's a disassociation, there's denial, there's all kinds of behavioral things we find in relationships. And I feel like this song is spilling the guts a bit on what happens with people. But then him also self-reflecting and being honest about his tendencies, the hypocritical tendencies, the exaggerated resentfulness, the pushing people away that wanted to help. So it's not just, I guess, pointing the finger, if you will, or looking at external relationships. It's also looking inward. And then in between, again, this gopher, from my perception, who's picking up these animals, telling them all these wonderful things, and then letting them go. And that perhaps, and this is just my subjective interpretation, maybe also addressing what we find in relationships sometimes, where we'll praise people, we'll say wonderful things, and then we move on. Same with him and his mom, right? Saying, hey, something happened. I need help. And her going, all right, fine, I'll see you on Friday. It's shedding light maybe on the superficiality, is that the word? In relationships that we find. A lot of people that are hurting and struggling by themselves that are in need of help, but we don't know. We dismiss it. We let it go. You're wonderful. Good luck to you, right? I mean, that's relatable. We see it on social media. We see it in our day and age. Oh, you're wonderful. You're great. Um, and then we move on with our day and we don't know where that person's at or what's going to happen next. And it's tricky, of course, right? Because you can't save everyone. We all have to also make a decision to save ourselves. I can say something encouraging to you and I may never meet you in person, or I can't ensure that you also do what I said now, or that you really act on the positive feedback I tried to give you. You have to choose for yourself. But I think there's also something to be said about the superficial interactions we experience, that cause us to end up going hungry in life. You know, you let all these animals go, as much as it was as nice as it was to praise them and to say all these nice things about them. Well, you're gonna go hungry now. I don't know. Was this him, the gopher, spilling his guts on relationships and introspection? Really deep. It makes me wonder what this song is about. Who's Aesop Rock? What do I need to know about him? Thanks, Alex, for making this suggestion. You guys, what do you think about that song? I'm impressed with the literary art and the rap skills for sure. Subscribe and I'll see you on the next ride. Ayo!